Good morning. The word for you today. Today is Thursday, September 7th. So, just a heads up, our scripture passage today comes out of Matthew chapter 19, which is all about Jesus teaching about divorce. However, our devotional is titled Kids and Kites. It's supposed to be about how letting go of your children is one of the hardest things a parent can do, and the verse that they use is verse 5, which says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." I'll be honest with you, I don't think that this is a good summary for what this is called. So instead, let's talk about this wider verse as a whole. So I'm going to aptly name this lesson, Jesus Talks About Divorce. We'll be in Matthew chapter 19, and we'll start in verse number 3, which says, "And the Pharisees came up to him and tested him by asking, 'Is it lawful to divorce one's wife for any cause?' Now Jesus answered, saying, 'Have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate.'" And then they continued and brought up how Moses said that if a man were to divorce his wife, he would give her a certificate of divorce. And Jesus responds, saying, "Because of your hardness of heart, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery." So, a lot to unpack there. Here's what I think is the main thing here. First things first, this wasn't an honest question. This group of religious leaders were coming to Jesus, trying to stump him. It was a catch-22. Because if Jesus had said, no, it's never okay for somebody to divorce, then they could have said, but the Torah says that there's reasons to permit it. If Jesus had said, yes, it's never okay, then at the same time, or if he said, no, it's never okay, or yes, it is okay, then they say, but that wasn't what was originally meant to happen. So do you see how this wasn't a very fair question to begin with? And I think what's beautiful is that Jesus kind of turns it around. And so he ends it by saying, "I say to you, whoever divorces your wife, except for reasons of immorality, and marries another commits adultery." Now, there's been a lot of ways that this verse has been taken, but I think the main thing here is that Jesus doesn't say that divorce shouldn't ever happen. He says it wasn't the intention, but Jesus also says that because of the hardness of our hearts, another way of saying that is because of our stubbornness, because of our inclinations, because of our proclivity to do things unjustly, to do things that are unjust or unfair, that God allowed for a way for the marriage contract, the marriage union, to be dissolved. And no matter what your theological beliefs are where that limit ends, it is an exception that's in the Bible. And so we have to wrestle with that personally. But for me, when I read this, what I'm reading Jesus say is I'm reading and hearing Jesus tell me to look at my reasons behind my actions. If in the future my marriage doesn't work out, and I hope that doesn't happen, but sometimes it does, what are the reasons behind the divorce? What are the reasons behind me choosing to do this action instead of this other action? This teaching goes so much further than marriage as a whole. It goes to our motivations behind how we interact in the world. And so what Jesus is asking is he's not asking you to justify the reason for divorce. He's asking you to justify to yourself your reasons behind the way that you conduct your life. What he's saying is, Don't just do it because you seem to have blanket permission to do it. Do it because it is good and fruitful and genuinely life-bearing. Don't do it because it's the easy thing to do. Do it because it is something that produces good work and good fruit in the world around you, that heals the brokenness of the world around you. Marriage, divorce, family, child rearing, all of these topics are so heated, so complicated. I mean, I'm in my 4th year of family science studies. I'm taking a class right now called Divorce and Step-Family Relations, and we talk about how sometimes divorce can be a good thing for individuals. And as Christians, that can be hard to hear because it doesn't seem true. But I don't think the research lies. And so for me, and I think for each and every Christian, we have to be willing to put away the box that we've put God in, that we've put Jesus in, and be willing to say, maybe I'm not seeing the full picture, and I don't know what that looks like. So instead, I'm going to trust that he knows what is good, and I'm going to show grace and love to every other person I interact with. Have a nice day.